Have you ever noticed how people tense up around a man who doesn't chase their approval? He's calm, he's direct, and he doesn't bend himself to fit the room, and suddenly everyone feels unsettled. Why does that kind of presence feel dangerous? Maybe because it proves something we're afraid to admit. If you stop asking for permission, you stop being easy to control. From childhood, we learn to please. Be polite, avoid offense, keep the peace. Wait for a nod before you act. We're told being liked is the same as being good, and being accepted is the same as being worthy. But what if that's the trap? What if the constant need for approval is the invisible chain that keeps you obedient, predictable, and harmless? History and Friedrich Nietzsche offer a different picture. The moment a man stops asking, "Will they like me?" and starts asking, "Is this true to me?" his life changes shape. His voice gets steadier. His choices get cleaner. He becomes hard to move, hard to bribe, and impossible to manage. Some people respect that. Others fear it. Because a man who doesn't need approval shows everyone else how free they could be, and that truth can feel like a threat. You check your phone 100 times a day, hunting for likes and comments, anything that says you matter to people who don't even know your name. You rehearse what you'll say before you say it, scared you'll get it wrong. At work, you swallow your real thoughts, smile when you want to shout, and then wonder why no one respects you, even though you're always trying to please. Here's the blunt truth. This isn't kindness, it's fear. And that fear is draining your strength. You don't need to be scared. You should be the one others find a little scary in the best way. That's the kind of inner power Nietzsche pushed people to build. There's a kind of man the world quietly fears. Not because he's cruel or violent, but because he's free. He doesn't check his phone for approval. He doesn't soften every word to avoid offense. He doesn't fake a smile to make others comfortable. Nietzsche wanted men to become this kind of person because they expose a big lie. The belief that approval, acceptance, and belonging are the highest goods. That story keeps you weak. Right now, your spirit is bleeding out in tiny drops. Every time you ask, "Is this okay?" a bit of your real self fades. Every time you twist the truth to protect someone's comfort, you bury part of your soul. Look around. The hardest workers are often underpaid. The nicest people get stepped on. Agreeable men watch from the sidelines while others take the prize. Why? Because you've mixed up being liked with being respected. You've mistaken approval for power. You traded your creative birthright for leftovers of acceptance. Here's what you weren't told. The people you're chasing for approval often don't respect themselves. You're asking for validation from folks who are just as lost playing the same please like me game. Nietzsche called it herd mentality. Millions scanning each other for permission to exist, waiting to be told what to think, how to feel, what to value. The system runs smoothly until someone opts out. When a man stops asking for approval, the herd panics. They can't predict him or control him. The usual tools, acceptance and rejection, no longer work. More unsettling, he shows that the game was optional the whole time. If it's optional, then everyone still playing chose to stay in the cage. That's a hard truth to face. Society runs on a simple drug, approval. Give a small hit of acceptance, and people will do almost anything. Threaten to take it away, and they'll give up nearly everything. It starts young. Good boy, you shared. Good girl, you caused no trouble. Message received, your worth depends on others' opinions. By adulthood, you're hooked. Likes, comments, smiles, nods. Miss a dose, and you start to panic. Do they still like me? Did I say something wrong? Am I still acceptable? Plot twist. The people handing out approval are addicts too. The boss wants his authority validated. The friend needs laughs for his ego. The politician needs votes to feel real. Everyone's both dealer and user in the same economy of validation. Everyone. Except the man who doesn't rent his self-worth. When others argue, he observes. When others perform, he builds. When others seek permission, he acts. This unsettles people who rely on reading social signals and calculating status. With him, the signals don't work. They whisper, "He thinks he's better than us." Wrong. He's not thinking about them at all, and that scares them most. Here's a shift that will change how you see people. Most don't want solutions. They want their complaints confirmed. They don't want to grow stronger. They want their victim story validated. They don't want responsibility. They want permission to stay weak. The approval-free man won't play along. He won't co-sign excuses. He won't sit in the comfort circle that keeps everyone average. Simply by being real, he reminds others who they could have been if they hadn't traded their essence for acceptance. That's why some don't just dislike him. They feel a bitter resentment, what Nietzsche called resentment. Not hatred for what he did, but for what he represents. They're abandoned possibilities. But approval feels good. Belonging is human nature, you say? Or is it learned helplessness? Watch a child before the world crushes their spark creating. Without asking, telling the truth without calculating the cost, following what truly interests them without taking a poll. Then watch that child after years of, "Be nice, don't stand out. What will people think?" They turn harmless, predictable, manageable, the exact kind of person Nietzsche despised. Not the one who scares the crowd, but the one scared of the crowd. Before that training, the child was simply human, creative, honest, alive. What's actually selfish is asking everyone else to dim their light so you can feel brighter. People who want approval just want love. You say not quite. They want safety. Love doesn't require you to pretend. Safety often does. Real love, rare as it is, loves you as you are, not as others need you to be. It doesn't ask you to shrink, seek permission, or trade your truth for a seat at the table. Authentic people are rare, which makes real love rare, because most people are afraid to stop performing long enough to discover who they are. Man free from approval learned a secret the herd misses. You can't be truly loved until you're willing to be truly yourself, and you can't be truly yourself while begging for permission to exist. When you stop needing validation, you're nervous. System recalibrates. Your voice steadies. Your posture opens. You take up space without apology. People feel it. Some are drawn in. Others feel threatened, but nobody ignores it. And then something surprising happens. The disasters you feared, rejection, loneliness, conflict either don't come, or they come from people you realize you didn't want in your life anyway. Those who leave were there for your performance, not for you. Good riddance. Those who stay, those are your people. Nietzsche called the higher form the Bermensch, not a bully, but a human who no longer needs others to define their worth. He doesn't create values just to rebel. He creates values because all values are created by humans, for human aims often for control. Society claims that seeking approval is humility, teamwork, consideration. Look closer. Who benefits when you must have their thumbs up to feel whole? Who wins when you're scared to act without a group vote? Not gods, not fate. Just the people who put themselves in charge of your acceptability. Here's the revelation. Their power over you lasts only as long as you believe in it. The moment you stop caring about their opinion, their grip dissolves. They become irrelevant. That terrifies them most. When you stop seeking approval, expect attacks. Words, labels, shaming tactics to push you back in line. You're selfish. Translation: you stopped serving our interests. You're arrogant. Translation: you stopped shrinking to make us feel big. You're cold. Translation: you stopped warming yourself by our praise. These jabs reveal more about the attackers: deep insecurity, a sense that dependence on approval has made them easy to read, easy to move, easy to manage. And here's the fear underneath: if you can stop chasing approval and not only survive but thrive, what does that say about the dreams they buried and the compromises they made? Freedom spreads. Authenticity is contagious. One man stops asking. His friend notices. A coworker shifts. A spouse puts down the mask. That's how real revolutions start, not with a manifesto, but with individuals opting out of the old game. The system knows this, which is why it tries to pathologize independence, call autonomy selfish, call self-reliance cold. It needs you to need approval. Your independence means it loses its job. Your self-reliance makes it irrelevant. Every day you face the same fork in the road: conform or create, seek approval or seek truth, play it safe or be authentic. Most choose the familiar discomfort of pleasing over the unknown path of self-creation. A few choose differently, the road that scares society, because it's where real human growth happens. And here's what most don't tell you: that path isn't lonely. It's selective. It isn't cold. It's clear. It isn't arrogant. It's accurate. When you stop needing everyone to like you, you finally connect with the people who matter. When you stop performing, you can finally be present. When you stop trying to be what they want, you can finally find what you both actually need. This is the turning point, when the boy in you steps back and the warrior wakes up. It's the moment people start taking you seriously. They see you won't play small or let life shove you around. And here's the truth: this moment doesn't arrive by luck. It arrives when you stop expecting the world to treat you gently, and you choose to meet life with strength, clarity, and conviction. From here, you transform from reacting to people's opinions to acting from your own vision. Once you taste the freedom of not caring about approval, the old habit feels like poison. After the power of honest self-expression, performing for applause feels like death. Here's the final truth: you are never meant to ask permission to be yourself. You were never meant to seek approval just to exist as you are. The approval habit isn't human nature. It's learned helplessness. It's a clever form of mental slavery that keeps you dependent on others for your worth. The approval-free man isn't an odd exception. He's human nature finally unchained. That's why he scares people, not because he's different from you, but because he reveals you're different from what you were told to be. He's not the mistake. The mistake is needing permission to exist. Watch how this plays out in real life. The boardroom, dating, the family table, anywhere power moves. The approval seeker loses before it starts. In negotiations, he signals need with his body, voice, and early compromises. He needs the yes too badly. The other side smells it and lowers the offer. In dating, he scans her face for cues, edits himself in real time, and asks for permission with his eyes. Neediness kills attraction. Women don't want to be your validation machine. They want to be chosen by someone who doesn't need choosing to feel whole. At home, kids test boundaries, and he bargains instead of leading. His partner makes decisions, and he asks, "Is that okay?" Instead of stating a view, he teaches his kids that authority is begged for, not embodied. The approval-free man plays a different game. He negotiates from abundance because he can walk away. He draws real interest because he isn't performing. He leads his family because he isn't scared of temporary disapproval. Your approval addiction is a diagnostic tool. It shows exactly where you gave away power, where you don't trust yourself, where you treat someone else's judgment as more real than your own. Need your boss's approval? You've decided your worth comes from opinion, not results. Need your friend's approval? You've ranked their acceptance over your authenticity. Need strangers' approval online? You've handed your self-esteem to people who don't even know your name. Each approval point marks a wound where you were trained to seek outside comfort instead of building inner strength. The approval-free man healed these wounds not with slogans, but with the hard realization that no one else's opinion can fill the space where self-respect belongs. Every time you chase approval, you're making a bad trade-swapping time, energy, truth, and power for short-lived validation from people who also want validation. You spend hours crafting the perfect post for likes from people you don't respect. You edit your business ideas down to what others call realistic. You water down your personality to avoid conflict with people you don't even enjoy. Here's the accounting class you never got. The costs compound. Each compromise makes the next easier. Trade your truth often enough, and you lose the sound of your own voice. You get fluent in other people's language and forget your own. Meanwhile, the approval-free man's authenticity appreciates like a rare asset. The fewer genuine people there are, the more valuable his presence becomes. While performers depreciate, the real one gains value through selective rarity. Social media has turned billions into approval-seeking zombies posting, checking, refreshing. Likes bring a hit. Silence brings a crash. Mean comments bring panic. Many have handed their nervous systems to strangers. The approval-free man uses these tools differently, if at all. He isn't posting for applause or engagement stats. If he speaks, it's because he has something to say, not because he needs someone to clap dot in any group. There's a silent hierarchy determined by one thing: who needs whom more. Approval seekers sink to the bottom, no matter their talent. The boss who needs to be liked loses authority. The father who needs to be liked loses respect. The leader who needs validation loses the ability to make hard calls. Here's the paradox. The less you need their approval, the more you earn their respect. The less you perform, the more they value your presence. The less you chase acceptance, the more they want yours. This isn't manipulation. It's human nature. People are drawn to those who are complete without them and pushed away by those who are desperate for them. Isn't approval seeking natural? Don't we need connection? Connection, yes. Approval, no. They're different. Connection is mutual. Approval is top-down. Connection feeds both people. Approval drains the seeker and inflates the giver. Look at children before conditioning. They connect naturally, play, share, speak, without asking permission to exist. Approval isn't genetic. It's programmed by parents, teachers, and the culture to make adults easier to manage. If you keep chasing approval, your future is sadly predictable. You'll hit middle age and realize you lived someone else's life job, chosen by others' expectations. A lifestyle designed for their comfort, opinions borrowed from their thoughts. Your relationships will feel shallow because they were built on performance, not presence. Your kids will sense weakness and lose respect. Your partner will feel like they married a committee. And in the 3 a.m. quiet, you'll know you traded your birthright for a bowl of approval soup. You killed something powerful in you to keep others comfortable. By then, it can feel too late. Quitting approval isn't like quitting smoking. It feels like quitting breathing. But here's how the approval-free man did it. He started small, stopped explaining choices that needed no explanation, stopped apologizing for taking up space, stopped changing his personality to match the room. Then he went deeper, stopped checking social media for hits, stopped asking for reassurance about decisions he could make, stopped faking emotions to make others comfortable. And here's the key difference between those who succeed and those who slip back. He replaced the addiction with something stronger: purpose. You can't just remove an addiction. You have to install a mission. He chose being useful over being liked, being authentic over being accepted, being fully alive over being approved of. When the approval seeker dies, people say, "He was nice." never caused trouble, always went along. That's faint praise for a quiet, unfinished life. When the approval-free man dies, the world is different because he lived, not because he was perfect, but because he was real. Not because everyone liked him, but because those who understood him were changed by knowing someone who lived without permission. That's his final victory over the system that tried to shape him. He shows the emperor has no clothes, shows that the judges of acceptability only have the power you give them, shows the conformity game was always optional. If something inside you is waking up now, that's not rebellion, it's recognition. Recognition of who you were before they trained you into someone else. Recognition of the power you handed away when you made belonging more important than being. The man who doesn't ask for approval isn't asking you to follow. He can't be followed. He's reminding you of what you forgot. You were never meant to ask for permission, just to be yourself. This is your moment. You can keep refreshing your phone for strangers' validation. You can keep shaping your truth to fit their comfort. You can keep trading your birthright for acceptance. Or you can remember who you were before they broke you, before they told you your worth depended on their opinion, before they sold you the lie that being liked matters more than being real. The choice is yours and time's expensive. Every minute spent seeking approval is a minute you don't get back. Every day you wait for permission is a day you could have been building your own reality. If this message lit a fire in you, act on it now. Choose truth over approval today. One decision, one conversation, one boundary. And if this helped, like the video so more people see it, share it with someone who needs this wake-up call, and comment, "I am done asking for permission." Your words might be the spark that frees someone else.